Well, I've got so many questions asking me how I get accurate quantities of materials that are used in construction. And today, let me show you how to do it. Let me start with blocks. Usually, blocks are these materials that we use for walling. They may be concrete or the natural stone, or even bricks. So, for these ones, we can consider, say, one block. And one block, you will find that it takes that joint. We have the bed joint, and we also have the vertical joint. But now, if say this joint, say it is 10 millimeters thick, usually on site, fundis usually make these around 25 millimeters or 20 millimeters, that is 1 inch. But the standard one, we use the 10 millimeter. So take this block, say it is measuring 390 by maybe 190 height. And then if you want to get the exact area of block in this wall, you get to the center of the joint. And to the center of the joint, here you will find you've divided this 10 into 2. So it is about 5 here on this side, 5 and 5. So let me just show you how to do it. A block, we have a standard block. It may vary depending on your country or your location. So this width may vary. This is block about block 8, which is about 200 millimeter wide. We also have block 6 of 150, but for the factory made, you may find it is around 140 millimeters. And then we also have the height, and this one 390. Usually it ranges between 390 and 400, depending on the manufacturer. So we will only use this face here if we want to get the number of blocks. So we can make a sketch of that. Just make a simple sketch. You have the block, and then you have the joint measuring 10 and 10. And if we get to the center of that, because that joint is being shared between all those blocks, the one for this particular block is about 5 and 5 on this side. So if this one was 390, the length will be 390. You add 5 on this side and another 5 on the other side. So you add 10, that will give you 400. And then the height, which is this one here, is 190. You add 10, that is 5 and 5. You also get 200. So the area of that one block, net area, is 0.4 times 0.2. That gives us about 0.08 meter, 0.08 meter square. And with that, we can easily get the number of blocks. Consider 1 meter square wall. That is 1 meter by 1 meter. If you get the area is 1 meter square. So the number of blocks in 1 meter square wall will be 1 divided by 0.08. And then in that case, you'll get about 12.5 blocks. That is if you have blocks measuring 390 by 190. But you can always take your tape measure and measure that and get the exact size of blocks that you are using for your wall. And that will give you an accurate number. And then we can allow for 5% waste. You can't rule out waste. So if you take that, that will be 12.5 times 5 over 100, you will get around 0.625. You add this to the number of blocks and you get 13.125. So get something like 13.125 blocks. So you can't order for 13.12 blocks, so you just say 14 number blocks. It's always safe to approximate to the higher side. And then that's all. But a typical example, suppose you have a wall measuring maybe 10 meters by 2.1 meters high. That is, you just take a wall, you take the length of the building and then you multiply by the height. You get the area of the wall, and then maybe it has a window measuring 1 meter by 1.2, and then it also has a door. Those are the openings measuring 0.9 by 2.1. So if we want to get the number of blocks that you're going to use here, first of all, area of the wall. That will be 10 times 2.1. What do you get? You get 21 meters square. And then you deduct openings. So openings, that is 0.9 times 2.1. You add 1.0 times 1.2. This one will give you 0.9 times 2.1. If I do my quick calculation, 0.9 times 2.1, I'm getting 1.89. And then I add the other one, which is this times that, you'll get about 1.2. If you add them, you'll get 3.09 meter square. So those are the spaces. So net area of the wall, that is minus the spaces, less spaces, or I mean openings. You will get 21 minus 3.09. That will give you 17.91 meter square. So the number of blocks for that particular wall will just be 17.91 times 14. In that case, you get about 250.74 blocks. But you can't order for 0.74, so you just say 251 blocks. Thank you. The contractor who was asking for that, I hope you are answered, plus the students.